Alright, let's get the show on the road. So last week, I came up with the idea of starting this series called Mad Libs Thursdays, which is a horrible name, I know. And I asked you guys to send me specific words to put into my short story. So, here we go. After school yesterday, I went under the sea to get some lights for my grandma. Oh boy, it's weird already. I went to Japan. I went to Carson City to get some marbles for my grandma. Why, did she lose them? L-O freaking L. I went under a hat to get some fingers for my grandma. Fingers. Your grandma's pretty... Yeah. On my way there, I saw the Wheel of Fortune hostess spinning in the corner. Confused, and for good reason. I approached the hostess and asked her what she was doing. Confused, I approached the hitman and... Wait, hang on a second. Why would you knowingly approach a hitman? Like, you could be his next job. I approached the laboratory assistant and asked her what she was doing. She replied that she was building a maleficent Volkswagen with a Mr. Clean and 1,819 protractors. Even more confused, I decided not to question it and left her alone to her work. When I arrived under the sea, I realized I had forgotten my socks at school. I had forgotten my socks at school. A single sock at school. Everybody wears socks. Okay, wait, that makes sense actually. I decided to run back to get it later, after picking up the fingers. While I was there, my Twitter-pated friend Javier called and asked me if I wanted to go hula hooping while eating watermelon off the corners of the ceiling with him. Is that like a weekly activity that you guys do? I told him I was busy at the moment and could not join him. Then I went back to my stinky search. I gasped all over. But much to my happiness, I could not find any fingers. So you don't want to find fingers. So why are you looking for them? I left Japan and headed back to school. The school doors were locked by the time I got back, but I wasn't accepting any more failures. I reached into my backpack and pulled out my flight-enabling socks. Socks again! And flew to the fairy dust. Hang on for a sec. The criteria for the fairy dust word was supposed to be something that you find outside a building. Do you by any chance find fairy dust outside buildings often? Because if you do, I really need to know what buildings you've been to. I need some of that fairy dust, man. I put them on and flew to the mezzanine where I found a way into the school. I cultivated it through the dark, invisible hallways. That must have been really hard. Until I reached my locker. When I opened it, I was bombarded by the horrible smell of rotten kimchi and moldy kimchi. Okay. I dug through the waste and eventually found my socks. After putting them on, I found fingers at the bottom of my locker. That's really concerning. Once again, pretty weird grandma. I exclaimed horridly. No! Why? I exclaimed happily. Penguins will rule the world! I exclaimed slowly. Oh, sorry. Penguins for Narnia! As I ran home to give them to my grandma. As I ran home to give them to my grandma. Ran home to give them to my grandma. To give to my grandma. On my way back, I tripped and dislocated my pinky finger, my pinky toe, my patella, my hair. Then I woke up and it was all a dream. Thank you once again for everybody who participated, and I'm probably never gonna do this again because it was horrible. Well, my story was horrible. Your words were great. I apologize for my lack of ability to write an ambiguous story that can be used for Mad Libs. Okay, here's a new idea. Comment down below a random word, and I'll try to compile everybody's words and incorporate them into a story. That way, at least the story will make a little bit more sense, and I can actually know what I'm working with and make it more entertaining. Sound good? Sounds like a plan? Alright. VEDA Day 13. I'm out.